Welcome back to the Metal Exchange. I am Chris. Justin is on assignment for this episode, unfortunately, but he has provided us with a few questions. But we want to welcome our special guest, Marius Danielsen of Legend of Valley Doom fame, but also the promoter for the upcoming Warriors of Steel Festival that takes place in Ålesund, Norway, May 29th of this year. Happens to be a festival that I am going to be attending and very much looking forward to. But Marius, how are you? Welcome to the Metal Exchange.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here. I'm very fine. I've been working in a studio today, so yeah, free from my normal day job, which is as a teacher.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How are things going as far as the planning for the festival this year? And I assume at this point everything's pretty much wrapped up, and you're just waiting to have the bands get on stage and do their thing.
Yeah, it's been a long planning since actually the day after last year's festival, so almost a year of planning now. And I think we have everything under control, so I hope it will go as smoothly as possible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this year is the second Warriors of Steel Festival. How did you come up with the idea of doing this festival last year, and kind of go into like how the festival was created initially, and also like how you went about choosing bands? We'll start with last year's festival since that was the inaugural one, and then we can move on to talk about this year's lineup. But let's kind of talk about just how things got started and the bands that played last year.
Yeah, so I have this band called Legend of Valley Doom, and we have only done shows in Norway so far. And I had booked a gig in my hometown called Molde, which is just a couple of hours away from Ålesund, and also a gig in Trondheim on the same weekend. And both had very low ticket sales because of after COVID, no one wanted to buy tickets in advance. So I had to cancel those shows. And then I was thinking, should I bother trying to do gigs anymore with the band? And then I went to Epic Fest in 2024 and got really inspired because there people came with Legend of Valley Doom t-shirts, and it was like I was a rock star basically. So it was a crazy feeling for me, because in Norway it didn't seem like anyone cared at all, and out in the world people actually knew my music. So then I got the idea to try and do my own kind of power metal festival, because down at the Epic Fest it felt like a family reunion basically, because everyone loved the same genre as me. And then I was sitting, planning and checking out with bands I knew from before, and you had Jonas from Dragonland, who had guested on my Legend of Valley Doom albums, so he was a natural person or a band to ask to play. Vionity, we have recorded some stuff together earlier, and also they were the support band of the Legend of Valley Doom a few years ago. So yeah, and Palantir played with the guitarist from Legend of Valley Doom. And we had Insania, which I have loved since forever. And in 2014, we did some special shows with Fabio Leone, and I asked him to be the headliner together with us and play some Rhapsody songs together. So that was the lineup, basically.
Very nice. How did you feel about how that first festival went? Was there anything that you are doing differently this year, like learning from anything from the first time out, or did it go well enough that you felt comfortable just kind of doing the same thing again. Talk about how you felt about that first time after it was over.
So coming from the cancelled Legend of Valley Doom shows, I didn't have much expectations at all. I was hoping for 150 to maybe 200 people, and then there were over 400 people there, and they were traveling from many different countries. So that was just a very cool and amazing experience for me, that it is possible to play power metal in Norway.
That's great. Obviously, you're a big fan of power metal, and this is really a festival just for power metal. There's so many festivals that are also have prog metal and thrash metal and doom metal and black metal and all these other genres of metal, but this is solely for the power metal fans, and I'm certainly one of the audience that you're aiming for. Talk about your upbringing and like which power metal bands you were a fan of growing up and kind of inspired you as a musician, and even if any of them are kind of like on your wish list to play at your festival one of these years.
So my first metal kind of band was Iron Maiden, and then I saw them play live in 2003 they played The Klansmen, and my favorite movie was Braveheart, so that kind of made me realize it's possible to do this kind of music with storytelling. So I tried to make my own kind of thing, and then that's how Legend of Valley Doom was born. And I also, by some weird chance, I think, downloaded some Iron Maiden songs from LimeWire back in the day.
Oh,
it was called it was called Iron Maiden I Want Out and Iron Maiden Eagle Fly Free.
Yes, two of the more well-known Iron Maiden songs.
Yeah. So that made me realize there are bands out there that sound kind of like Iron Maiden, but they are faster, because this couldn't be Iron Maiden. I heard that even though I was about 15 years old. So I was checking and Googling and doing all my research and found out that was Halloween. So they became one of my favorite bands as well. And it would, of course, be awesome to have them headline Warriors of Steel one day, maybe, when we can sell out the festival in Ålesund. Probably 10 years from now, when they are retired. I don't know.
That's okay. It's important. It's important to have goals, right?
Yeah. Maybe they're cheaper as well in 10 years' time.
No, maybe. Who else landed on your radar around that same time? I know Halloween's kind of like the godfathers of power metal, but then there's so many bands that followed in their footsteps. I mean, I'm sure we could deduce based on the guest stars that you've had on your albums who you're a big fan of, but name some other bands that also inspired you at a young age.
Yeah, the Legend of Valley Doom list is basically the best of power metal kind of list. Other bands I found were the Avantasia albums, of course. I had this guy in my band back then who said, you have to listen to this, because he knew I liked Halloween. And there was a guy who was named Ernie on those two albums who sounded very much like Michael Kiske. So that music was perfect for me. And then I discovered Rhapsody, and that's probably where I have most of my influences today, with the narration from the Symphony of the Enchanted Lands 2 and all that kind of stuff. And Manowar, of course, especially the Gods of War album. A weird pick maybe, but that was the one that came out after I discovered them. So that was the first album I bought.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding to, it's the early 2000s, and you're you're getting ready to create this first Legend of Valley Doom album. Talk about, what it was like for you to reach out to a lot of these, legends in the genre to be a part of this, and how you found the reaction. And, these 3 parts, are a really impressive list of guest vocalists that I think, or not just vocalists, just guests in general, that I think really rival Arion and Avantasia as far as just, talent goes. What was that like for you? Was there anybody you really wanted to get that you weren't able to? I know, I always think of that track that features both Michael Kiske and Daniel Hyman together, which was like a power metal fan's dream to have 2 of these all-time great vocalists sing together. That was you really, I think, made a lot of dreams come true with that track. But I mean, just in general, talk about what it was like, kind of recruiting these guests for these albums, and how all that worked for you.
So the first, I wrote the first song back in 2005, so 10 years before the first album came out, and then I had planned for it to be like a band album with just me on vocals and the band, playing. But then I moved, and they were not that triggered to play power metal and stuff. So I just figured I'd do this as a solo project instead, and try to reach out to some people. So I started with some guys from Italy that I had known for a few years from a band called Crystal Empire, very obscure power metal from Italy. And they said yes, and said it was very cool. So I tried to reach a little higher and sent over an email to, I think it was Edu Falaski from Angra, and he said yes. And that was kind of crazy. So I thought, maybe I should try to reach out to other big names and make this crazy big album that with all my favorite artists on it, because I felt it was so crazy to hear such a familiar voice on one of my songs, because I had heard Nova Era and all those songs for so many years, and then suddenly that voice was on my song. So I reached out to Mark Bowles and Tim Ripper, and they were also very excited about it, and Tim Ripper said that the music fit his kind of voice very well. So I got like the best range for both him and Mark Bowles to do the job properly, I think. So that was how it started, and then I just raised the bar every time to get more of my favorites, such as Kiske and Daniel Hyman, which was extremely crazy.
Was that the sort of thing where you would send over like a track or whatever, and then they would do the recording on their own time and then send it back to you? Same with all of the the guitar guests and the bass guests. Like, this is just like a who's who of people in metal. Is that typically how you would do the recording, and then I take it you and Peter would do things together locally? But like, did anybody actually come to your studio, or was everything done like remotely, essentially?
I think the only ones who were in my studio were Jan Tore Grefstad from Highland Glory and Saint Demon, and also Jari from Stratovarius, the bass player, because he lives in Norway, so he just drove and came to me for a weekend to record stuff for part 2. And then everyone else have recorded in their own studios or rented a studio around the world.
Right.
So I just make like a demo with guide vocals. Sometimes it's too high for me to sing, so I just do one octave lower and then tell them to, do it gloriously.
Love it. That's great. Is there anybody, without giving away anything for the, part 4, if there's going to be a part 4, is there anybody that is still on your wish list to work with? I mean, there can't be too many left when you look at this list of artists, but and for me personally, happy to see Alessio and Jonas both are two of my favorite vocalists from Power Quest and Dragonland, respectively. But is there anybody still on the wish list besides Bruce Dickinson and some of the real big names? But
Bruce,
who
Bruce Dickinson is on the top of my list and has been since 2005. But it's been impossible. I've met him twice. And on the second time I met him, I brought this piece of paper with the info about Legend of Valley Doom, and please read this. I want you on my metal opera. And then he didn't even take the paper. I'm not doing metal operas at the moment. And then he left. So I just gave it to his manager or the guy he was traveling with. Please make him read this. And then I didn't hear back, but maybe one day.
Hey, listen, anything's possible, especially I think as if the band starts to slow down with touring and he might have more time on his hands. It's definitely, I think, if you ever got a chance to listen to the first handful of albums, maybe he would be like, hey, yeah, maybe this is something that would be really cool to do. So you never know. You definitely have this great list that he could probably look at and be like, there's a lot of really important names on this list. So if they're willing to work with Marius, then why, maybe I should too. So, it's really cool. I'm always just amazed when I pull up the notes on Metal Archives and just look at the list of names. It's just unbelievable. And then, bringing new blood into the fold, like a Melissa Bonney on the newest album, and just adding, some of the newer names. Like I just see some of my favorite vocalists on here: Tommy Johansson and Alessandro Conti, and just an unbelievable list. Matthias from Falconer, like just Elisa Martin is one of my favorite singers too. So really great list of guests. Is there the next album on the way, in the works, coming soon? Where are we at with? Is there going to be a part 4? Is there a new story to tell? Where are we at with the Legend of Valley Doom?
Yeah, I was actually working on the last track of part 4 just before we called, So I think we're jumping about 200 years into the future. Because there need to be some time in between the great battle that ended the Dark Lord and something new, evil, something to rise. So it's very nerdy, but 200 years in the future, and there's an angry wizard guy who wants some revenge. And I think, I have most of the songs demoed at least, and some have been recorded with the guest vocalists and guest guitar solo players. So I hope to release it next year if I can afford all the guest vocalists.
Do you have any of them set in stone yet, or is this still a secret for now?
Well, I can give you an exclusive.
Ooh. It's
Ola Hallén from Insania is going to sing on the album.
Nice.
And Jan Tore Grefstad.
Awesome.
I think that's actually how far I've come with the vocalists for now. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
In the works, but yeah.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we're very much looking forward to that. How about other things? I mean, this isn't really your only band. That you have your hand in other projects as well. What else have you been working on lately, or looking forward to releasing in the near future, as far as other bands or other projects, or are you focusing just on Legend of Valley Doom right now?
No, I'm playing in the Anniken band that is also playing on the Warriors of Steel Festival. That is my wife's solo band. And we just finished a new song for her that will be released next Friday, I think. Is that the 22nd? Yeah. Or 21st, I don't know. It's called Home, and I think that will be epic. We're going to play that song on Warriors of Steel as well. So
nice.
We'll do my Legend of Valley Doom set, and then Anniken is going to play straight after, so we don't have to change a lot of the band lineup. I'm just staying on stage there waiting for the next thing to happen. Yeah.
Last year, did you have any special guests for your Legend of Valley Doom set, and do you plan on having any this year as well?
Last year, Jonas from Dragonland, he sang the Chamber of Wisdom song that he did on the album, so that was very cool, hearing the song with the voice that was on the album. So we couldn't lose that chance of doing that, since he was in town. This year we're going to have Ola Hallén to do one of the songs from part 4. Actually, we're going to play a new song.
Cool.
And yeah, that's the world premiere. I don't think we'll release the song in like 6 months or something. So yeah, people have their phones up to record so people can hear it.
Nice. Yeah. Alessio is going to be around. Just saying. I don't want to spoil any surprises, but he's definitely worked with you before. So, and Michelle Lupi also will be around. Just throwing some names out there. But yeah. I imagine some of it you want to keep as a surprise, which I understand. So I'm not looking for any sort of spoilers, but that it's cool that you're gonna be able to have some hired hands in town to possibly help out. What is it like for you to choose your set list? Do you base it on like which vocalists are available to you in a live setting, or do you just kind of pick your favorite songs and go with that? How do you choose which songs to play in a festival situation like this?
Well, last year we played for 1 hour, so we played a lot of the fast ones, but then we also played Tower of Knowledge to have some dynamic into the set. And though Crystal Mountains is not a very streamed song, I think it's one of the songs with fewer streams on part 2, but I love that song, so I'm going to play it anyway. And I created a very nice dance for the song, like high, majestic Crystal Mountains. My wife always like holding her hands over the eyes because she's a bit embarrassed that I was standing there creating like a TikTok dance. But it works. People are actually doing it as well, so that makes it extra funny.
Hey, power metal fans are all about just having a good time, so I think that's what it's all about. Talk about putting together this year's lineup. What it was like to get the yes from Power Quest to bring back the original classic lineup to perform at your festival for the first time in many years. but as well as adding Power Paladin and Vision Divine and Dragony and Anakin to the list. Just talk a bit about how you put together the lineup for this year.
So with Power Quest, I had tried to reach out to Steve Williams for a while, writing on Messenger, Facebook, but he didn't reply. So I asked his biggest fan, Yuko from Japan, who happened to have his WhatsApp phone number. Steve was on the part 2 of Legend of Validoom, so I tried to go from that direction and use my contacts and try to, Steve, if we could invite Alessio as well, would you two be interested in doing some best of Power Quest songs like we did with Fabio Leon this year? And then he said, that sounds interesting, but I will speak with Alessio. And then Alessio said, why can't we just reunite the whole band? And I said, that's a better idea. I didn't even think that was possible or on the table, but if we can do that, that would be awesome. So that got the ball rolling. So yeah, everyone seemed stoked about it and wanted to do it. So that was awesome.
I know that's one of the big draws for me to make the trek over. Thank you for asking, because I didn't think that was on the table either, if I'm being honest. And it sounds like that the band may continue to do some of these like one-off festival shows going forward, which I think is really great for the fans of the band that still want to hear some of those old songs. And even if the band's not going to make new material, they can still get out there every now and again and give people a chance to see them play. So that's a really great thing. How about the rest of the lineup?
For Power Paladin, I heard their album when it came out, the first album, and I absolutely loved it. So I invited the vocalist to sing on my War of the Worlds album. War of the World, I think it's called, from 2022. That was just leftover songs from stuff I couldn't use in Legend of Validoom, so I just made an album there. And he sang on a song called Servant of the Secret Fire. And then I saw them at Epic Fest, and they were awesome there as well. So we've been talking since, and I wanted to bring them to Norway because they were, great, and I don't think they've played in Norway before, so they deserve the exposure. Yeah.
I agree. I think that their new album is out of this world. It's really, really great. I've listened to it quite a few times, and I'm wondering if I may run into them in Iceland because we connect we fly to Iceland first before we fly to Norway. Oh. So I'm wondering maybe we'll see them on our plane. But they're one of the bands I'm really excited about seeing. So that's really cool. You continue, please.
Yeah. With Vision Divine, it was supposed to be Twilight Force, but then they got an American tour with Ailstorm, so it crashed with the festival. So I had to think about other bands I would love to see myself, and since Lupi had just joined Vision Divine, it would be awesome to see them because I've never seen them live. So the whole festival is kind of an ego thing that I want to see bands but don't have to travel so far.
I mean, why not?
Same with Power Quest. I never saw them live, so reuniting them and getting them to my town is very cool.
Who could blame you? I mean, it makes sense. It really does. Do you happen to know, is Vision Divine only going to be playing songs from the Loopy albums, or do you think they'll play anything from other eras of the band, or you think they're just going to stick to, you know, that time period and maybe some of the newer songs? They have a new EP that's coming out soon.
I think they will play some of the new stuff they've just released and probably focus on the Loopy era, I think.
And how long does each band get to play?
45 minutes for me and 35 for Anniken, and then 45 for Paladin, Power Paladin, and 45 for Dragony, and 1 hour for Power Quest, and 1.5 hour approximately for Vision Divine.
Oh, that's going to be it's going to be a wild evening. I'm very excited. Talk to me a little bit about your wife's band and how you know, does she have a kind of a different vision of how she wants to make music versus how you do it? I really liked the first Anniken album, and I'm looking forward to hearing more stuff from her and you guys. But how do you guys as a couple kind of navigate the musical world and the creative process? And I imagine that she might have her own way that she wants her music to sound, if that makes sense. Like how does that work? I couldn't imagine working with my girlfriend, so I'm just curious how that works for you guys.
So she comes from the 80s thrash kind of bands, Metallica and Megadeth and stuff like that. And she hadn't listened to a lot of power metal before she met me. So I kind of guided her into the lights. And when she comes with her ideas, they are a bit heavy, and I add some melodic stuff and maybe some double kicks and stuff like that to the songs. And our styles kind of mesh together. But it's always her who gets the last word, of course, because it says Anniken on the cover. So I need to try and fulfill all her demands and wishes the best possible way. Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah, true.
How about Dragony? They're the only band we haven't really talked too much about. I've never had a chance to see them live, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them talk a bit about Dragony. Yeah,
so I love their album that had the song Lord of the Hunt, and it's kind of very huge, majestic sound. And of course, I invited the vocalist into one of my projects because that's what I do when I find cool stuff. So he sang on the Anna Metal for Charity thing that me and Anniken did in 2017, and we've kept stayed in touch since then. And we've been talking about getting them to Norway for a while, and this was the perfect opportunity. So I think people will love them because they're very melodic and huge sounding and perfect for the festival.
Excellent. Really looking forward. I think you've really put together a really top to bottom outstanding lineup for any power metal fan, or really just any metal fan. It's just a lot of talented bands, and I'm so excited. I've never been to Europe, never mind Norway. I've never even been over the sea to Europe. So this is going to be my first trip to Europe, and what better way to start my European travels than to come to Ålesund, Norway, and check out some fjords and some power metal. And I'm super excited. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions that my co-host Justin wanted to ask you, but he couldn't make it on. he wanted to know, do you have any favorite non-power metal bands or any favorite newer bands that have come across to you in more recent times?
Yeah, not in recent times, but I really love Johnny Cash.
Nice. Well, that's a great choice right there.
Yeah. In recent times, I don't know, Crazy Licks and bands like that, Crash Diet and the sleaze kind of stuff from Sweden. There are many 80s inspired bands from Sweden.
Yep. Hardcore Superstar, are they also from Sweden? Yep, that's another one.
So all those guys with high hair, hairspray kind of bands, that's awesome. Because they're a little bit more metal than the Poison bands from the 80s. Right. So they're almost like power metal. But
I'm a big fan of that style too. I know Crash Diet had a song not too long ago that had Michael Starr from Steel Panther on it, and I thought it was such a great, catchy tune. It had a fun music video. So that those are those types of bands you would be willing to invite to Warriors of Steel, or do you think that it doesn't really fit the power metal motif?
It could be a perfect headliner if maybe they would need to bring a double kick or something. Right. Add something to the choruses. I don't know.
That got me thinking. Do you know when you will be announcing the lineup for next year's festival? Will you do it at this year's festival, or will it not be quite ready yet?
I'm going to have a meeting with the venue people, hopefully next week, so we can land a date. And I have been speaking to a lot of bands, and it would be awesome to reveal one or two bands on the festival day just to get things going. So we will see. It all depends on the venue and if they are available at the dates I want to have.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. I as a longtime attendee of Prog Power USA, one of the things we look forward to most is that on Friday night before the headliner plays, they show a video of the entire lineup for the next year, and it just gets everybody talking and excited about next year's lineup and stuff like that. So it's a cool thing if you can time it right. I know it's not always logistically possible. That's the reason that I asked. Justin also wanted to know how you select your lineup for Legend of Valley Doom as far as the live shows go. How you choose who performs with you.
We had some different singers. The first concert was in 2019. Then we had Bernt Fjellestad from Guardians of Time as the main vocalist. But then he became very busy with another band. And then we invited Jan Tore. So that's been the stable lineup with people from Ålesund and my brother and my wife. And so, yeah, people I've known for many years, like the drummer from my old band, Darkest Sins. And yeah, so we just look at what other vocalists we can invite, but yeah, checking around if there are any bands I can book to, for example, Warriors of Steel, and then use maybe one of them as guest vocalists. Other than that, we're a stable lineup with 7 people.
Okay. And is it something that you've ever thought about or would want to do a tour of on a larger scale basis, or is that something that is logistically a little bit more difficult?
It would be very cool to do more shows, and especially outside of Norway, but then I probably need a booking manager or something, because I can't get a gig. Yeah, so I would need help for someone to kind of get us to other gigs, I think.
Sure.
it's easy for me to arrange a gig here in Ålesund or locally, but I wouldn't even know where to start if I were to book a gig in Germany or UK or
Right, but still open to just doing like one-offs at festivals for sure.
Yeah, Epic Fest, are you listening?
I mean, I'd love to see Legend of Valley Doom come to the US and play at Prague Power USA or
that would be a dream
something.
come true.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Justin and I are friends with Milton, so maybe we'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, do that.
Well, look, I have to see your band play first, and then I'll decide if I'm going to go to bat for you. I'm sure you guys are going to do. So a great
you're going
job.
to stand like this the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm 6'4", so I'm just going to be right in the front with my arms crossed. You're not going to be able to look away. It's going to be very distracting, and I'm going to ruin the whole night. Kidding aside, is there anything that you would want to plug at this time? I know that there are still some tickets left, so maybe we can make one last push to get this thing closer to a sellout. Just let me know what's. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff, but anything that's in the pipeline for you, and please feel free to plug any of your social media where people can find you, that sort of thing. And I guess I should ask, how are ticket sales in comparison to last year's festival? Are you ahead of that?
Yeah, we're ahead of last year at the same time. So I think we're almost at 300 now. And last year at this time we were at 230 or something. And we ended up at 420-ish. So it would be awesome to at least get close to 500 this year. That would be amazing.
Okay. I'm going to probably buy another ticket and drag my girlfriend to at least see Power Quest so she could see what I've been obsessing over for so many years, because she's heard me talk about that band for as long as I've known her. And so I feel like if she's going to make the trip all the way over with me, she should at least see one or two bands. So you can add one more ticket sale to the total. So yeah, please continue. Just let us know like what to look forward to and where everybody can find you on social media.
If everyone goes to mariusdanielsen.com, you will find all the info about Legend of Valley Doom and the festival. And if you ever need some mixing or mastering or guest vocals or guest guitars or whatever you need, I'm here. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out to talk to us about the festival. I am very excited to get to meet you in person and attend this really cool festival and see this. I've heard people tell me that Ålesund is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and so that made it an easy sell for my girlfriend to come along with me. I said, I know you're not into metal, but it's going to be really pretty. And she was like, all right, let's do it. So I'm very excited, and I can't believe that I've been thinking about this for almost a year now, and now we're just a couple of weeks away. So if anybody else out there is still, I know it's kind of last minute to plan a trip like this, and I know that there's a ton of different countries, people from different countries that are coming, including Yuko from Japan, like you mentioned. But now I'm coming over from the U.S., and you had posted on social media all the different countries that are going to be represented in the crowd, which I think is really, really cool. And
it's amazing.
And I think that it's a testament to what a great lineup that you put together, that people from all over the world want to come and check it out and see some of these bands play. So excellent stuff. Can't wait. Thank you again. And we'll have you on again when Valley Doom Part 4 is ready to come out, and we'll talk about that. And you're always welcome. It's great to finally get to chat with you. Thanks again, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thanks so much. And it's awesome that you're taking the trip all the way from USA. It's
Thank you.
long
We're very
way.
excited.
Going to be jet lagged, I think. I remember when I went to New York, I was jet lagged for days.
I'm fully expecting it, but I feel like it'll be worth the discomfort. There's nothing like live music to kind of pick you up out of whatever, tiresome or funk or whatever it is that you're in.
Yeah.
It's the magic of music. I'm just hoping that I'm not dragging the whole rest of the trip, but I think we'll be okay. I think so.
Yeah, some beers and uplifting melodies, and you're fine.
That's the key. So
Yeah.
yes, thanks again, Marius.